One simple and effective joke writing technique is what I call the reversal. The way this works is you take two elements from the setup and you switch them around in the punchline in a way that's somehow funny. Here's an example. My friend who loves coffee said to me, "My sole purpose in life is turning coffee into urine." I said, "Weird, with Starbucks it's the exact opposite." Now this is a very simple joke, but it also just works. And let's break it down and look at what's going on here to make this funny. Now the punchline of this joke is basically, Starbucks fucking sucks. You know, it's just being delivered and communicated in a clever way. If I just came out and said, "Hey, doesn't Starbucks fucking suck? You know, their coffee is bad." No one would laugh at that because there's nothing clever about it. There's nothing interesting. It's just a statement that happens to be negative. The point is made in a clever way where it somehow just clicks inside of your head to where it's like you only have these two elements to work with, coffee and urine, and yet you somehow manage to switch them around and you just make a clever point with it. It's like something about the fact that your materials are so limited to work with, yet you're still able to make a funny point where there are two different statements being made with different meanings and messages. And, you know, a point is being communicated. Something about that, for whatever fucking reason, our brain thinks it's interesting, it's clever. We're like, isn't that fucking smart and creative? And we just laugh about it. Now, notice with this joke, there's a target to it. You know, we're basically pointing and laughing at this target to feel superior. And the target in this case is Starbucks. There's also universal appeal to this joke because everyone gets it. You know, like, it's very popular to bag on Starbucks, to roast them, dare I say. And, you know, everyone's heard this before. Starbucks, they're really expensive. They taste like shit. Everyone's heard these critiques about Starbucks. Everyone's familiar with them. And that's what this joke is getting at. And because everyone's so familiar with it, it's a joke that's likely to land and connect with a big portion of the audience because everyone fucking gets it. I'm not talking about like some niche fucking 1950s sci-fi movie or whatever the fuck. It's something everyone's familiar with. So it's just good material to use for comedy. So how did I go about writing this joke? In this case, I started with the setup. And, you know, I think I was just like drinking coffee or something. And I probably just, you know, said something fucking stupid to myself like this. Just to like exaggerate how much I like coffee. You know, I was probably just like, yeah, you know, my fucking sole purpose, I'm going to turn this coffee into urine. And then from there, it's just a very clear pathway to just like flip those elements around in a way that's funny. You know, coffee into urine. You know, what if you did the opposite? Urine into coffee. And then it's like, hey, isn't that what Starbucks does? And then it's just like, boom. That's a fucking joke right there. Then you just clean up the wording, you find a way to set it up, deliver it properly, and then boom, it's a fucking joke. Everyone laughs, everyone has a happy day. Here's another example of the reversal in action. My girlfriend likes to suck me off while we're driving, which explains why she crashes so often. Now this is another textbook example of taking two elements and you flip them around in the punchline. Now the reason this one is so funny is because it rearranges those elements in a way that's just completely fucking absurd. And it also violates expectations. You know, people expect that what I'm saying here is that when I'm driving, she's the one that likes to suck me off. Because, you know, that's how it typically works. So I'm told at least, you know? Like my fucking sex-starved ass would know. No. But, you know, that's what people expect. When I set this up, they imagine Anton in the fucking driver's seat and she's sucking me off. And then the punchline reveals, whoops, you know, it's fucking flipped around. I'm in the passenger seat. She's driving while trying to suck my fucking penis. And, you know, it's funny because, number one, it reverses expectations. And I talked in a previous video about misdirection being a key technique to make people laugh. Because, you know, what you can do in a lot of jokes is you create one impression inside of the mind of people with the setup, and then the punchline reveals, nope, your impression was wrong and actually something else is happening here that's somehow funny. That's what the reversal in this case is doing. It's, you know, it's flipping around the impression that we have and showing you're actually wrong. I'm the one in the passenger seat. And it does it in a way that's just hilariously absurd. You know, one key element that just works in a lot of comedy is absurdity, exaggeration, just completely ridiculous scenarios taken to an extreme. And it's like, could you imagine trying to drive a car with your fucking face in the crotch of somebody in the driver's seat? It's completely ridiculous. Like there's no possible way you could be paying any attention to the road. And so you just imagine like constant car crashes because she likes doing this, you know, she does it a fucking lot. And you're just imagining her sucking my dick and just getting in these frequent, ridiculous car crashes. It's just fucking stupid and funny to imagine. And the final part of this particular joke is there's something sexual and obscene going on here. If she was just like solving a fucking Rubik's Cube or something, you know, it wouldn't be as funny. But it's like sucking a penis. It's just a silly thing to be doing while driving. There's definitely an element of shock humor to this. And it's, that's why sexual humor can tend to be pretty funny. Now, how did I write this particular joke? Once again, as with many jokes I write, I started with the setup here. I kind of throw some shit out there and I just go fishing and I just look for a good idea. What I like to do is I'll take some sort of cliche, something that's like widely understood or repeated by people, because those are the kind of jokes that give you universal appeal. So, I'm looking to write jokes about my girlfriend, for example. I'll fish for ideas and just like see what potential punchlines come up. So I'll ask like, what are some universal cliches here? What are some typical things that girlfriends are normally talked about as doing, in like movies and in general conversation that's widely understood? And it's like, hey, sometimes they suck your dick while you're driving. And then you just utter some version of a potential setup out loud where you're like, my girlfriend likes to suck my dick while driving. And then from there, the punchline will just pop into your fucking mind. Just like from the fucking ether. I don't know where it comes from, but it's just like you say the first part of it, and then your mind just like completes it and just gives you the punchline that makes it funny. I don't know how that works. It just does. And, that's my technique for a lot of the jokes that I write. So in this particular one, the elements get reversed. People expect one thing, yet it's revealed to be another. It's absurd, it's obscene, and everyone fucking laughs. Here's one more example. I walked by a homeless guy the other day and he said, spare some change. I was like, dude, I'm broke as fuck right now. Like ridiculously broke. Can you spare some change? Now, why is this particular joke funny? It's because, there's a target to this joke that the audience points and laughs at. It's like, ha ha, you fucking broke loser. Aren't you a stupid fuck? It makes them feel superior. They point and laugh. And that's one reason why a lot of jokes are funny, is because the audience feels superior and they're laughing at some other. And in this case, I'm the other. I'm the stupid fuck. I'm the loser who's broke. And that's just funny to the audience. And then there's the self-deprecation part of this as well. I'm not pointing at like some distant body like Starbucks, the corporation that's down the fucking street. It's the asshole on stage right in front of you right fucking now who's saying that. And so like quite literally, they could just point and laugh at me. And that's why self-deprecation tends to work so well, because the target is right there in front of you. Something about my personality, the way I talk, self-deprecation, it just fucking works for me. It just works when I roast myself. Because I'm confident, I don't take myself too seriously, I'm kind of a nerd, it just works for whatever reason, and people just laugh at it. And then once again, here, because, we're talking about the reversal, look at the reversal of the two elements that's taking place here. The point is being made, I'm broke as fuck, that they laugh at, but it's also done in a way where you switch the fucking scenario around. And it's just clever and creative, and it's just like snappy inside of their mind. And like I said, for whatever reason, it's just funny when you do that. And then, add that final element of absurdity and exaggeration to this. It's not just I'm broke. I don't just come out and say like, man, I'm really fucking broke. It sucks. And it's just like crickets, No, I'm so broke that I'm literally asking a homeless street beggar to lend me money. He's got his fucking tattered clothes and his cardboard sign and his tin can. This is literally the last person you would ask for money. And, here I am asking him to lend me some money. It's a hilarious exaggeration of how embarrassingly broke I truly am. And the situation itself is just ridiculous to imagine. How did I write this one? Once again, you probably guessed it, I started with the setup for this one. Spare some change, that was the starting point for this one. What do we have here? We have universal appeal. We have a widely fucking understood cliche. What does a fucking homeless person say to you? If you like Family Feud, where they hit the buzzer, and it's like we surveyed 100 people, and 62 people said this. Dude, the top fucking thing they would say is spare some change. It's like every homeless man in a fucking movie, that's his line. Spare some change. So there's the cliche to take advantage of, and that's just the setup I work with, because everyone in the fucking audience understands it. And then from there, you think like, you scan the horizon, your mind looks around, and it's like, what would be an absurd version of the scenario that's just funny? Like if a homeless man came up to me on the fucking street and said this, how could I respond to this query in a way that's just hilarious? What if I said, could you spare some change? Wouldn't that be fucking funny? Wouldn't that be stupid if I flipped it around like that? Then from there, you find a way to just word it correctly. You paint the scenario, you paint the picture in their minds, and it's just a funny situation where they're just laughing at how much of a broke, stupid fuck I am, and it's communicated in a way that's clever. That's how the reversal works. There's a couple different ways of making it work. You can laugh at some other, you can do self-deprecation, you can paint a scenario in their minds, and you can violate that expectation. There's a lot of ways to make it work, but the key element is you take two things and the setup, you flip them around to the punchline, Do it in a way that's clever, absurd, hilarious, and people fucking laugh.